we talk last? Before my fight, huh?
Right before your fight that Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really, seriously, when it happened, it was so slow motion to me. It was nuts. And I knew what was going on, but as soon as it was over, I was like, fuck. Because, shit like this never gets seen and all that kind of stuff. So, I just kind of thought I was like, fuck, I just lost my fight.
Well, replay it for us.
Replay
it for us. Like, from your perspective, what do you feel like what happened? What do you feel like the camera didn't show?
I don't think it had anything to do with what the camera didn't show. I think the only thing that people didn't understand is, first of all, they didn't even see me tap, so nobody, I think, really realized what had happened. But I know when I was in there, everything was slow motion. So she went for the arm bar, which obviously everybody does up against that position, so I'm used to that. And I go knee on face to get my arm out, and it worked perfect. And then I stepped up just to get my hand the rest of the way out, and it's a technique I use all the time. And the ref started telling me I can't use it. Get your foot off the face. That's illegal. And I was actually arguing with him during the fight. I was like, this ain't illegal. This ain't illegal. And I'm yelling at him, and he came around, and he said it one more time, and he actually put his hand on my arm like he was going to, like if you're grabbing the cage or something, they're slapping you off, So kind of like you have to listen to him at that point, So
Right. Well, and
that's when I stepped off.
And so did you appeal the decision right away? Like, what's the process for all that to happen?
Yeah, I think that they knew I was going to appeal because I think that we said it that night, and as soon as it was over, I looked at my cornermen, and two of my cornermen were still sitting in their seats. Didn't even know, they're, almost, I just was like, fuck. And I was like, man, they didn't see it. Nobody knew what just happened. This is going to be fucked up. I just lost my world title because nobody's seen what just happened.
Wow.
But luckily, I filled out the paperwork, and I think they kind of knew it was coming, and the commissioner was out of the office, I think, for the holidays for a week or so. So that's why it didn't get the day I put online, I posted that, they were going to tell me today, but that actually was just the day he got back in the office. So he kind of just told me it's going to take 2 weeks, and obviously it didn't take that long. So,
that was a really quick turnaround.
Paperwork, and that's it.
Okay. Well, I think...
And they did get the video. They got all the video from all the different angles. Luckily, it was Invicta, so they have a million different angles to shoot from. And then they had the ref mic'd up, too, so they kind of had all the evidence they needed.
Okay, yeah. And I think, you know what, I think that's a very progressive thing that happened because in our sport, I mean, we don't have instant replay, right? It's not football. You can't throw a flag on the play and be like, we want to challenge this play and overturn the call. So I think for, you to get that decision appealed, I think that's really powerful. And I think that shows a lot of maturity in some of these commissions.
It has to, though. If you think about it, we still have states that don't have commissions at all. We have referees and people putting on shows that don't know what the hell they're doing. They're just out there letting these kids beat the shit out of each other with whatever rules they make up. You know what I mean? So it's still really crazy. I think that our sport's come a long way, and for us to have states that are unsanctioned and fights that are unsanctioned at this point is ridiculous. Is how big our sport is. So I think that we as fighters have been paying the price since the sport started. We've been getting fined and suspended and all this stuff every time we mess up.
Yep.
And I think promoters have had to jump on that, and they had to start, paying fines and getting their license stripped and their shows turned, fights pulled off their card and their shows shut down and stuff for stuff that they don't do on, cross their T's or whatever. So
exactly.
It's only time that the commission has to kind of walk that line, and the referees have to walk that line. There's some kind of standard that for even the corrupt commissions in certain states, I think that it sets a standard that kind of needed to be, eventually it's going to happen.
Definitely.
It's going to happen.
Definitely. So then what's next? I mean, do you guys do an instant rematch? I mean, because, that's such an awkward, it's whenever there's awkward, endings happen, and then, all the behind the scenes stuff that goes on, it's like, okay, I feel like we got to see that show. We got to see that fight again.
Right. I mean, I asked for an instant rematch on this January card, and I know a lot of people are like, no, you can't. They need to step down and make you main event. And I'm like, nah, man, I don't even care to be main event. Seriously, these girls work just as hard as me, probably harder. So, I just want to fight on the card. I want to fight again, and I just want to fight. It doesn't have nothing to do with, you know what I mean? Has nothing to do with, me thinking I'm better than anybody else. I'll fight the first fight if they'll let me. I just wanted to fight immediately and get it done. And I came out there to fight 5 rounds, and you know, it went a minute and a half, and I'm just like super disappointed. I trained all that time.
Sure.
I know it sucks for both of us. It sucks for the whole show, but I think it's a big seller, and I think it'd be a great add to that January card, especially right after Christmas. You know.
Definitely. But if you don't get that card, if you guys aren't able to get onto that on that card, do you guys have any other upcoming cards that you'd be able to get onto?
I don't know when all their cards are. What is it, March or something? Is the next one maybe?
I think so.
Yeah, I haven't heard any word on it, but that seems like the time. But yeah, man, I would hope they'd put us on one of the next one. I mean, they might be just waiting to put us as a main event because it will sell. But
yeah,
damn, it just sucks. Like waiting that like you know, like geez.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think, you know, if you guys are fighting, I think that it definitely needs to be a main event, because that's, I mean, especially with the story of everything that happened, everyone's following the story, everyone's really interested. Like I said, I had fans, they were like, "Get Tonya back on your show," and I'm like, "Chill out, guys. Okay, we're gonna get her back on." But yeah, so people want to see it, and so I think it deserves a main event spot.
I thought I was going to have so much hate when it all like happened, and the fact that I put out that thing and was appealing. I thought I was going to get so much hate because I lost, like, and I really didn't. I had maybe 2 people on my Twitter talking shit, and the rest, everybody else was like, "Oh my God, that was such a shitty call." I think so many people saw it that kind of like was awesome. Thank God. Other people saw it and heard it and everything that happened, so it wasn't like me trying to tell some story to somebody that wasn't there. You know, it's really hard to explain. But then after it got overturned, I have like 1 million people writing me. They just don't know. They don't watch MMA. They don't know anything about it. But from what they saw, that other girl deserved to win. I'm like, dude, exactly. You don't watch it. You don't know what's going on. And people are like, "I feel bad for her now." What do you mean you feel bad for her? You don't feel bad for me? I lost my world title. I lost a 10-year streak. I lost a 5-year streak. I lost a 9-fight streak in a row. I lost like, who knows what all I lost. You know what I mean? The last 12 years I put in that. But you feel sorry for this girl because she got the title taken away from her after 13 days when she didn't even really earn it. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of just a fucked up situation. I'm not saying that, you know, it's just a messed up situation on both ends, and it sucks for her because, you know, obviously she came out to fight and she thought she went home with the title, but, you know.
Well, and that's why we just run it back.
I can't walk away. I'm not walking away.
And that's why we just run it back. I mean, and you know, it's like, who doesn't want to see an amazing rematch? And everyone, you know what, a couple years ago, I feel like the UFC had like all these rematches after rematch, and you know, people love to see competitive fights. And if that's what we're going to see, then the better for everybody. The better for you guys, the better for the fans, for the promotion. I just say run it back.
Right. I completely agree.
So next year, 2017, what's the plan for Tonya Evinger? I know you came on our show last time and you made some pretty strong declarations. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go after all these different belts. The UFC just announced that they're gonna be putting on a bantamweight, or is it a featherweight division for the women. That's pretty huge. Is that something you'd be interested in?
I think people are like so worried about like, oh, they're gonna put 45 instead of 25 or 25 instead of 45. Man, I don't think one's deeper than the other at all. I think that the 45 is just, I mean, I think 25, yeah, you probably see a lot more girls, just the fact that, you know, it's down in the middle. But I think some girls are going to come up from 15, some girls will come down from 35. Same thing. Some bigger girls are going to cut down to 45, and some 35ers are going to go up. I think it is what it is. It just needs to happen. I mean, these girls are like scrambling to jump into 3 weight classes because that's all, or 2 weight classes because that's all they have over there, you know. So it sucks.
Right, and it's not healthy. It's not healthy.
No, some of them girls. Valerie Letourneau is not a 15-pounder.
No,
I'm sorry.
She's a tall girl.
Some of them girls are not 15-pounders, and it sucks to watch them. She competed in my weight class and she makes 115. I couldn't imagine making 115. Wow. I couldn't imagine it.
Yeah. And I mean, we're talking about in an age of sports where we're talking about CTE, we're talking about, you know, these fighters with brain damage and all that stuff. We don't want that stigma a part of our sport. So we need the weight classes so people can fight at a healthy weight. So.
Right, exactly.
Well, okay, so tell us, what's going on for 2017? What's the goal? What are the goals?
Well, I guess at this point it's just to beat somebody up. I guess it's just to beat this girl up first. I don't know what
New Year's resolution
my goal is. I'm just ready to fight whoever, whenever, as much as possible. I mean, I think this whole last fight is kind of like just bumped me off my rail a little and kind of slowed my process of where my plans were and stuff down. But I definitely don't see much change, although 125 is really a sucky weight cut. Aside from that, I'm just trying to fight as much as possible. So
definitely,
I'm gonna go wherever they give me opportunity and just try to do as much as I can.
Very good, very good. Well, of course, Tonya, you are always welcome onto this show. I think, you are just such a great example, even just with your conduct in and outside of the cage. I think even just showing that, not to give up when you feel like you deserve to, hold on to your title. I think that's important for people to see. So I think you're a pioneer in a lot of ways. And so we're so grateful you came back onto the show.
Oh, thank you.
Give us
I was stressed, though. How many times I've threatened to protest fights.
See?
I'm protesting this, and it doesn't, most people don't even put it through, and most time it doesn't matter because it's not going to get overturned.
Definitely.
And this was crazy because it was a challenge against direct, a ref, made a mistake. It's like, oh, well, what can we do? Match is over. It's good that they're going back and doing something about it. So it's like a growth in the sport right now we're watching,
Definitely. And these are people's livelihoods on the line. You said,
not a hobby anymore, man. These are real people's career. People really see these as careers now.
Yes, of course, of course. And you have to treat it as such, especially if people are going to be, I keep saying this, but the UFC just got sold for $4 billion. There's no hobby when that happens. And, even if in or out of the UFC, that reflects, within the entire sport. So everyone's got to step up their game for sure.
Yeah.
Well, give us a shout out of your Twitter one more time.
Just my name, Tonya Evinger. You can find me on any social media. I don't have no fake account, so I'm the only one on there trying to use my name. I don't think anybody really wants to be me.
No, there's plenty of young girls out there. So, have a happy holiday. I don't know what you celebrate, but, enjoy time with your family and friends this holiday season. If you do fight in January, enjoy your food, but not too much. But right. But we'll catch you up later, okay, Tonya?
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
Definitely. Talk to you later. Welcome to Girl Fight Talk. My name is Kalah Haley, and we're so excited to have our special in-house guest, Messa. Messa, what's your last name?
I just have one name.
Okay. I like how this is going already. Good. Well, Messa is from the Boulder Food Rescue. And we're just so excited to have her on the show because, it's coming to the end of the year. And at the end of the year, your mind is always thinking about, man, okay, how are ways that I can give back to the community? And it's funny because, Hannah is the founder of Boulder Food Rescue. And one of my good friends, Franny, graduated from the University of Colorado at Boulder just last year. And I was telling Messa that Franny was on some, as Boulder folks do, they go on hikes and kayaking and rock climbing, all these different things. And Franny was somehow, I guess Hannah was Franny's expedition guide or whatever the case was. And she told her about this nonprofit that she was starting. And Franny was like, Kalah, you need to get in touch with Hannah. So Messa's here to represent Boulder Food Rescue. And welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, okay, tell us a little bit about Boulder Food Rescue. How'd you get involved?
I've been living in Boulder for about 4 or 5 years on and off, and Boulder Food Rescue has always been around and has always been a really big pillar in the community that I run in, mostly because Hannah is a really big pillar in the community. So anyways, Boulder Food Rescue, and I kind of crossed paths maybe at maybe first at a poetry reading.
Okay.
Is when I learned of the cool things going on. And then I left Boulder for a little while and came back, and my focus on my studies aligned a ton with what Boulder Food Rescue had going on. So I figured it was probably really relevant for me to get involved more so than I had been.
Okay. So how long have you been with Boulder Food Rescue?
Probably about 3 years.
Oh, wow.
On and off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, and then you were telling me a little bit about your degree and everything. What are you studying at CU?
So my degree's in environmental studies, but my focus has been in sustainable food systems and agriculture policy, growing growing techniques, pretty basic growing techniques, but I still like to think that I focus a little bit. I like to focus a little bit on like the water systems and the geological systems and just larger systems that go into play when we're dealing with food and agriculture and related resources.
Okay. So break that down for us, for us common folk. I mean, okay, so I studied biology too, right?
Totally.
I studied biology. I took a environmental, what was the name of the class? Dang, that's bad.
Good work.
I got a good grade in it though.
All right, well, I argue that counts for something.
Industrial ecology.
Okay,
that
cool.
was the name of the class. And we were talking a lot about how basically how green or ungreen or non-green terminology different companies are and practices are in industry. So whether that be, you know, H&M was seen as a semi-green company, maybe because of the way that they use dyes and things like that. But also recognizing that certain you know, the reason why, like, in America, the price of, like, a cell phone is so relatively inexpensive to what it should be, you know, how much it should be, is because of how cheap the labor is. So do you guys get into those things as well?
I do. I focus on a lot of, like, environmental justice, the environmental justice side of it, which is where Boulder Food Rescue comes into play.
Okay.
But, yeah, dealing with wage indiscrepancies, I don't know. Either way.
Yeah.
Dealing with and looking at how it affects the global market is a really important and necessary thing to understand.
Definitely. So, like, what would you say is, like, a big takeaway from that concept?
Well, just that, like, it's easy to find indispensable labor, as you would put for some of these really intensive, more monotonous jobs, but are really integral to the working machine cogs of these big industrial corporations. And the fact that they consider their workers and their labor to be disposable. Why do I keep putting in front of everything?
I don't know.
I think
it's
you
finals
know,
week.
it's a little bit later in
it's
the
finals
evening,
week.
You know. So anyways, yeah, that just the fact that is a thought that companies have in order to drive down their input costs to maximize their output costs. It's like a classic economical, you know, what's that called? Economic. I can't think of the word. I learned it in my microeconomics class, but that was a long time ago. I gotta tell you. But you maximize how much you put in. You minimize how much you put in to maximize how much you get out.
Sure.
The fact that they find that to be a relative thing to deal with people, I think is problematic.
Right. And so, tell us specifically, like, what the mission of Boulder Food Rescue is, and like just practically speaking, what do you guys do?
Cool. So Boulder Food Rescue redistributes a ton of food by bike every day.
Okay.
So
like literally a ton?
Not exactly a ton.
Okay.
So what happens is grocery stores, as you may know, create a lot of food waste because they don't sell it in the day. It's not marketable due to what it looks like or you know, various other problems that come into play. And so they end up throwing a lot of it away. And Boulder Food Rescue has come in and taken the waste products and they're relocating it to places in town that need it, like community centers and homes, like low-income homes and food pantries, and so.
Right. Okay. And so you guys, like, what these stores have like a crate of food that they would have otherwise thrown away.
Totally.
You guys go through it.
Well, so they put it out in a designated location, and we have shifts a couple times a day. And those people who are on the shifts take a bike with a big trailer attached to it, and they go and they pick up the designated box of food. Normally it's about 7 or 8 boxes of food.
Okay.
Pretty big boxes.
Yeah, that's great.
And then you go through and you, as the person who's running the shifts, checks it out, make sure there's nothing that's like super leaky or growing
Nothing
fungus.
growing, like an ear. Yeah.
Yeah, and so normally it's all pretty good stuff, though, and
Yeah.
it's not really a big problem.
Okay. And so, and then you bike it.
Mm-hmm.
What's with the biking part of it?
Well, I mean, Boulder Food Rescue is not trying to put more carbon emissions into the world that already exists. So why not take out all reliance on fossil fuels and use our bodies?
Okay.
Boulder's a pretty small place, and in other towns where food rescue systems are happening, biking is a really practical way to get, because often cases there is this food that is in abundance that is getting wasted that could be redistributed within a couple of miles, and a couple of miles is not too much in a non-super hilly environment to ask somebody to get on a bike and ride.
Right. You'd like a tip. Like you see like this Boulder Food Rescue person on their bike sweating coming up to the hill, but that's cool. Yeah. I was gonna say, if I had a Tesla, would that qualify?
I think that no.
Oh,
I'm gonna say no.
No.
Some people do drive shifts occasionally, but
that's so funny.
I think you should try to bike. It would be a cool thing.
Yeah, Boulder. So okay, take note. If you want to participate in Boulder Food Rescue, even if you have a Tesla, you have to ride your bike.
Well, yeah, and there's also bikes at the pickups.
Okay, that's cool.
We have a large fleet with a bunch of really rad people who make sure everything's in working order at all times. So.
Okay. And so how many volunteers? So you guys have Boulder Food Rescue, and then you also have Denver Food Rescue. Is that right?
Yeah. So Boulder Food Rescue obviously was the initial organization.
Oh, it started in Denver.
It started in Boulder.
It started in Boulder.
And they launched the Food Rescue Alliance, which is the kind of umbrella organization for all of the different food rescues. And it's an open source platform, so all you have to do is shoot us an email, and you can have access to all the information on how to start your own food rescue in the town that you live in.
Okay. And
it's a pretty similar model that all the food rescues follow.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forgot what your initial question was.
What was my initial question? Well, I was just asking how everything works, what's the logistics behind, and then asked about if I had to actually ride a bike.
Yeah, you can deliver the food however your heart desires.
That's cool.
But there's this really cool platform called the Robot.
Okay.
And that's how you know when a shift is coming up. So let's say you're me, and I'm a short-term shift coverer, which means that my schedule is really all over the place, and I don't really have time to pick, or I don't have the leisure to pick one set time that I can go every day or once a week and pick up a shift. My weeks change, right?
Sure.
So I'm a short-term shift cover, and that means I can go onto the Robot and look and see when are the available shifts, if somebody's not going to be able to make theirs today, or if there is a shift that doesn't have somebody to run it. And I can go pick that shift that I want to run, and I just click it, and I say, okay, cool, I'm going to go there, and it pops up with all the info I need, and I show up and do my shift.
That's cool. So it's kind of like Uber.
Yeah. Well, no, Uber just did this thing with food delivery, right? So you can be an Uber driver that
Uber
delivers.
Eats?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
that was past my knowledge.
Okay. Okay. Very cool. Well, I mean, and so you said you're graduating.
I graduate in 2 days.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So what are your plans after graduation?
I really am going to go to New Orleans for a week because I'm a musician and I just want to.
Really?
I'd love to go and learn as much as I can, and I'm going to spend a week with my family, and then I'm back and I'm going to be working around town and doing the things that I do involved in my community. So.
Okay. So do you want to continue doing environmental insecurity studies? Sorry, I totally butchered.
It's okay.
I tried to come off all.
Yeah, you were really close.
Okay.
I study my degree's in environmental studies, but I primarily study food insecurity.
Food insecurity.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, which is where Boulder Food Rescue gets a lot of their evidence-based material to do some of the programming that happens.
So your educational materials?
Educational materials, current programs we're running, collaborations with the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, you're a musician. Sorry,
I'm
I gotta
also a musician. Yeah.
Okay, what do you do? What's your thing?
I play the saxophone.
Oh,
but I
New
teach,
Orleans. Yes.
So I teach music theory. I could teach that with the piano, but my primary instrument is the saxophone.
you and Josh should like connect because Josh has a band, don't you, Josh?
I do.
What's your?
Yes, let's talk.
Oh, yeah. Josh has a band called. What's it called, Josh?
Always on my mind.
Always on my mind. Plug. Shout out to Always on My Mind.
There you go.
And they always have concerts, and they have a pretty like loyal little following. So I try to go to like the concerts. But I'm like, ooh, okay, all the time. But so yeah, you and Josh will definitely have to hook up.
For sure.
For sure. So are you gonna? Here we are, like going on in your life. So you're gonna like go to Louisiana, which that makes sense for like you said the saxophone.
Yeah, I just want to learn and also spend some time with my partner. I'm pretty excited. So,
Okay,
yeah.
very cool. And then you're gonna come back to Colorado?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, so you're gonna like continue to do? Are you just gonna volunteer more, or are you just gonna teach, or?
I'm gonna do a bunch of different things.
Okay.
But for Boulder Food Rescue specifically, I'm a coordinator, and I'm currently doing data analysis for a community-based participatory action research study.
Wow.
It's super cool.
Okay.
So we've done this study, so we know that food insecurity is like a huge problem.
Sure.
It's not a problem in it's not just a problem in like lower income areas or like big cities that have low income concentrations of individuals. Food insecurity is a problem everywhere, and everyone in Boulder often notes that it's like a little bit of a bubble, but food insecurity is very relevant there. And so what we've done is taken a group of 25 individuals and interviewed them.
Okay.
And we're going to go through and pull out relevant data, relevant information that we've taken from those interviews, and then go back in with the participants and do design workshops addressing the problems that they identify as barriers, and not the problems, the barriers that they identify within their own life as prohibiting them from being food secure, feeling food secure, or having 100% access to food. And so in this way, it takes research and shifts the focus from the researcher, presenting the answers to community-based design and I don't know, what's the word when you work together? Collaboration.
Collaboration. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, cool. So I mean, go back to there was a point that you made about so that to me, so I went to school in Atlanta, Georgia, right? I went to college in Atlanta, a small liberal arts school, all girls school.
Where'd you go?
I went to Spelman.
Okay, I went to Simmons for a year.
Really?
All girls school in Boston.
Okay, yes, girl power. So it was interesting because we were in the West End in Atlanta, Georgia, which is a little bit, it's like one exit south of downtown Atlanta. There are, for the first 2 years that I was at Spelman, there were no grocery stores. I mean, literally, I've always heard about like a food desert and like these different things, and I would like walk around, which you shouldn't really walk around that neighborhood, but I would walk around that neighborhood, and there was a Church's Chicken, there was a Taco Bell, there was an American Deli, there was, what else was there?
Fast food.
There was like a Popeyes. I'm like, how do you have a Church's Chicken and a Popeyes right across?
People really like their chicken.
I mean, but dang. And I just remember being like, where is the real food out here? And then it wasn't until I think Spelman had on our board of directors, I forget her name, and this is really bad that I don't know her name, but she's like basically like the regional president for Walmart or Sam's Club I think it is, and she ended up getting our community a Walmart, and then there's all these thoughts about Walmart, but it was better than what we had before.
Walmart is a pretty good option if you're looking for produce and there's no other grocery store around.
Yeah, if there aren't any other grocery stores around, but if there are other grocery stores around, just with the same things that you were talking about with lower pay, for employees and
I mean, you look at these large-scale industrial farms where they've done that economic, system, scheme. I can't think of the word, but either way, they're successfully working this model. and they are able to provide really cheap produce. And this is what people want. I mean, people want, as in the grocery stores, because the grocery stores are trying to minimize their costs as well. And so you have this, but then you have all these problems as to, like, why is their produce so cheap? Are they, using lower grade pesticides? Are they not paying their laborers enough? How are they transporting it? And when are they harvesting? Is it good for the? What are the nutrients looking like in your produce?
Sure.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems. That one, if you just like put fresh produce in front of somebody and they haven't grown up with having that their whole life, how are they going to know what to do with it?
Right.
There's a knowledge gap that comes into play when we're providing fresh and healthy meals. And then also there's this idea that, I can just buy better produce. I can buy organic, or that's a whole other conversation.
Hey, she like rolled her eyes. I'm like, what's that mean?
But that's only accessible to certain people.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Pricey, and it's not always there. So.
Yeah. No, especially, it's funny that like Whole Foods are only in like rich neighborhoods. You never see a Whole Foods in like, even in Aurora. I'm thinking to myself, Aurora's not even like.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Aurora is there's a large food desert over there as well. Denver is rampant with food deserts.
Yeah, all throughout, I'm sure.
Yeah, totally. Technically, a food desert is.
Define that for us.
It's no grocery store or fresh, healthy option for food within. I believe it's 5 miles. I could be wrong on that, but I can't remember the exact number of miles. But it's either 2 to 5, somewhere in that range. I'm like missing a mile.
Sure. I mean, and that was how it was in Atlanta. Like it was terrible. And you had all these kids. I mean, Spelman College, Morehouse College, Clark Atlanta University, Morehouse School of Medicine, the Atlanta University Consortiums, AUC. You think about it, these kids are paying $50,000 a year for tuition. And so these are kids who, some come from, I had a good friend who came from Florida, and, her family pretty much lived in poverty before she came to Spelman. And so she was there on heavy, with scholarships. And then you had other kids whose parents were the, Coca-Cola is out in Atlanta as well, and their parents were like the president, or dad was the president of Coca-Cola, or some regional VP or something like that. And so you had this huge spectrum of kids who had these different expectations of what just their normal lives would look like. And and then that would also play into the kids who had cars and the kids who didn't have cars, the kids who could go up to Midtown or up to Buckhead and go to their Whole Foods, or go to, what were the other stores out there? I forget. They had Kroger. They had all these other stores. But
transportation is a big limiting factor. Even public transportation, let's say you're going to get on a bus, you have 5 bags of groceries. That's going to be hard to manage. You got to get in your pockets and get your bus pass out. And 2, what if the bus driver doesn't stop for you, and like you go flying with all your groceries? What if you have a disability and you're trying to get on public transportation, and the transportation doesn't take you but a mile and a half away from your grocery store?
Yeah.
Then you're going to have to walk
or to your house.
Yeah. Either way, it's not always convenient. And transportation is one of the largest barriers.
Yeah.
That prohibit people from getting access to healthy, nutritious diets.
Well, and that's so powerful about what you guys are doing, because you are taking those barriers out of the way.
Well, that's what our programming aims to do. Yeah, that's what we're trying to try to understand better, because we don't know exactly how to alleviate best or try to fix these situations the best. I don't know if we can fix anything, but if we can make things more accessible or increase people's knowledge bases so that they can, start to make these steps on their own.
Definitely. Well, good. So if people want to get involved with Boulder Food Rescue or Denver Food Rescue, what's the best way?
So boulderfoodrescue.org. Just head over there and send an email to info@boulderfoodrescue. We can get you all hooked up with the robot. You can pick up shifts whenever you want. The same thing is available down in Denver, but we should probably check the links. I believe it's denverfoodrescue.org.
Okay.
But yeah, if you just shoot us an email, it's very easy. We have training sessions once a week, that happen. You come, do a little ride along, get the basic understanding. once you've done a ride along and you've gotten the little chit chat, you're good to go, and you can pick up shifts whenever you want.
Okay.
They normally take me a half an hour to run, 45 minutes if it's like a real heavy load. You've got to put 12 boxes of apples and bananas on a trailer.
Sure.
It's going to take me a little bit longer, but it's pretty accessible, and there are shifts pretty much at all times of the day. Whatever time you can think of, there's probably a shift from somewhere in town.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so that's cool. That's awesome. Thanks. I mean, we're very excited. I think, especially, I don't know how old you are, but I would say our generation, I could say our generation. Our generation, I feel like, is very globally and more locally conscious in a lot of ways. Understanding the impact because of technology, because of these, the world doesn't seem so big, and so because of that, we are a lot more sensitive to the needs in the Philippines, but then also in Philadelphia, right? Like we're a lot more aware. We're connected to people all across the world and all throughout our cities and states, and because of that, I think our empathy is bigger as well. And so when we see these needs, we're able to connect a little bit better maybe than previous generations.
Yeah, I hear that. I think we can be connected, but we can also be disconnected.
You're right.
40% of the food that gets produced gets wasted. It's almost half.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes from people with privilege who are, let's say, connecting to people on the other side of the world, but are forgetting about the strawberries in the refrigerator that are not doing too hot. That now they're like, I could just go to the grocery store and get some more. I've been there. I actually, I had some strawberries in the car and they froze. I forgot. It was like I left them in the car for like an hour and they froze, and then they like kind of melted in my refrigerator and like got a little disintegrated. But I just turned them into a smoothie. It was fine.
Exactly. I was gonna say put them in the juicer.
Yeah, but that's again a knowledge thing. Like, what if you don't know how to do that?
Right. Right.
So yeah, being aware, being conscious. If you can't come do a shift for Boulder Food Rescue, think about donating. We do a ton with just a little bit. We don't have a huge operating budget, but we are really resourceful and innovative in that, and I think that that's really necessary for the work that we do. And so yeah,
that's cool. That's awesome. And ultimately this is an MMA show, right?
Yeah.
So our listeners are probably like, okay, Kayla, this is great. We're glad to know about Boulder Food Rescue, but bring it for us. And so Messa is also trains in MMA.
I just got my 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo.
Wow. Yeah. Scary.
I haven't done MMA, but I fight for the Colorado State Taekwondo, Costa, and that's not mixed martial art. That's like elite level Taekwondo.
Okay, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So that's so cool. I mean, so how long have you trained for?
16 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's where the MMA is coming. Like, I've done other things
Sure.
along, and maybe like supplement, but yeah, Taekwondo is my main.
Okay. So what other things do you train in?
I climb a lot, and I played collegiate lacrosse for like a hot minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So yeah, no, I climb, I play music, and I fight.
Okay, cool. And so when you do Taekwondo, because I did Taekwondo for a semester.
It's cool.
And but my background was more in Kempo karate.
Oh, cool.
That's what I did. And then I dabbled a little bit in Krav Maga. Like I said, did like a little semester in Taekwondo. And then I did more full-on MMA. Well, and my Kempo karate was actually a lot of MMA, to be honest. And so did more specific MMA training just within the last year. So do you guys do more than just Taekwondo, traditional Taekwondo kicks and stuff like that, or?
Well, really, I've been focusing on my collegiate team.
Oh, so you do for Boulder?
Yeah, so
Okay.
CU has a sparring team, but it's sport sparring, which is Olympic style.
Mm-hmm.
So we train for, there's about 5 or 6 of us that are training for the elite international competitions, and then the rest of the team fights at the collegiate level, which is really awesome. The Midwest Collegiate Taekwondo Conference just happened,
Mm-hmm.
and CU Boulder hosted the National Collegiate Taekwondo Conference in April.
Okay.
Late April. I don't actually know that date,
Okay.
but it was, last spring semester. At the end of last spring semester that happened. So yeah, that's a pretty big and new thing, is that the collegiate, schools are all getting together to fight on this level.
That's really cool. So do you follow MMA at all?
No.
No.
Don't get me actually, sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you know of any of the fighters at all?
I do know some of them. Yeah, I grew up down the street from Gina something.
Carano?
Yeah.
You grew up down the street from
She's
Gina
from
Carano?
Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. She lived
And her
in
dad's
the
the
street.
football player?
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
Yep, he's I don't know. God, my mom's gonna kill me.
What? No.
He's on the housing association. I don't know his name. Mike TP.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's the last name. But anyways, yeah.
HOA?
Yeah, like the HOA. My dad's he's on the HOA or whatever.
So your parents are on the HOA with Gina Carano's dad?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, well. Yeah, we never really hung out.
That is so
But
funny.
one day somebody was like, "Hey, you know that she fights?" And I'm like, "What?"
That is so funny.
Mhm.
So when did you realize that your parents were on the HOA with Gina Carano's dad?
Oh, well, I mean, this was a long-known thing that she was our neighbor, but my parents weren't on the HOA until the last 5 years. So
Okay.
really, but and she's older than I, so we never grew up. I was
Yeah, she's 30.
going around asking the neighbors if they wanted to ride on my skateboard with me, because I was a nerd, and I had a ramp in front of my house, and I'd be like, "Hey,
So you were neighbors with Gina Carano?
Yeah, Gina Carano didn't want to ride on my skateboard
Oh
with me.
my
I'll tell you that.
gosh, that is so funny. Dang, Gina Carano, I feel like you should make that up to Messa. So wait, let me see, how old is Gina? How old are you?
23.
23, okay, we're the same age.
I feel like she's about 7 or 8 years older than me.
Yeah, for sure. She's how old is she? Wikipedia. Oh, she's 34.
I told you she's older than me.
Yeah. Not old, Gina. But a solid 11 years.
She's
Okay,
cool.
we won't do the math. Sorry.
Cool.
We won't do the math. But yeah, no, she's so cool,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's so crazy. You were neighbors. So you did you ever see her out outside?
I think the one most poignant time I ever saw her was I was on one side of the gate and she was on the other side of the gate getting into the neighborhood, and I waved. Or maybe it was when I was checking the mail at the end of the street and she was getting out of her car because her parents' house is right next to the mailbox, and I think we waved again.
Is hilarious.
That might be the extent of our communication
That was
ever.
the extent of your relationship.
It's a good relationship. It's really
That is
deeply rooted.
How old were you?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Like-
I moved out of my house 7 years ago. I must have been I don't know, 16,
That
14 to 16.
That is hilarious. That's so cool. What? Man, and to know that she one day was gonna become Gina Carano.
I've never seen her fight.
Oh my gosh. Hold on, let me pull it up.
I watched Ronda Rousey fight a few times.
You watched? Okay, so you know Ronda Rousey.
And I like Conor McGregor.
Okay, so you know the big names.
Yeah, well, because they're the exciting fights.
Okay. There's a lot of exciting fights.
No, it's true. It's true, but I really watch Taekwondo fights a lot.
Okay, this is a fight you gotta see. So Gina Carano is the original Ronda Rousey.
Oh, she's the OG.
She's the OG.
Well, that's good because she was my neighbor. So
She was your neighbor, right? Exactly. So
I
that's
have alliance.
exactly. So you got to be loyal to
Question
Gina.
is Gina Carano gonna beat Ronda Rousey if they get matched together?
Well, Gina, I think, is done fighting.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she's definitely an actress now. She's
No,
more
she was an
into-
actress first. I feel like She was like doing stunt dabbling, and that was like how
Oh, okay.
you know.
Well, so she okay, let's see. Let's find a little short clip. Gina Carano was scary back in the day.
Me too.
You too. Oops. Oh, with the tap out shirt.
Yo, can I have hair like that?
Right. Look at those shorts. I can't stand those board shorts from back in the day.
Check this music out, too.
I know. Back in the day, like, MMA only knew, like, Screamo. I'm like, I'm so glad we're past that. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, like, let's get to the real...
No, we got to do the hype.
Okay. Gosh.
Yeah, right hook.
Oh! She's dead. Look at that. She, like, ran into the...
Duck and weave, that's what we call that one.
Yes. Look at that.
Front kick, get out of my way.
Oh.
Dude, this girl's not even putting up a fight.
Aww.
She's like, stop it, please.
She's tired. That's why Gina was, you know, in women's MMA. Dang, body kick. Ooh.
I think they're in Vegas right now. Are people going to be also watching this?
No.
What the F are we doing then?
We're just, you know, I'm showing you who your neighbor was.
Well, I mean, I know who she is.
But you said you never saw her fight.
Yeah, but I could think I could fight her.
You said you think you could fight her?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your, like, weight class?
Right now I'm feather 125, but I try to fight 119.
She was 135, I think.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean,
We have to make the same weight class.
if I could keep her up on the ground, maybe.
Do you do any like submissions?
I have, but not focused on it. I would be super out of
Out of your
my
element?
element. If
Out
somebody
of your element?
took me on the ground, I'd be like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah, no. The ground game is a completely new world. Like,
It's fun. I used to be pretty good at it, but then
yeah,
you know, time will take you away from it.
it's true. And if you don't, you know, and if you're not consistent, that's one of those where you can lose your skills. Is in jujitsu, is because I mean, it's so technical with every single position that you're in. If you don't know what you're doing and the other person does, it feels like you're drowning.
And you can get flipped in a second too. So.
Oh, in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let me reintroduce you to your neighbor, Gina Carano.
Thank you for that.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, I can't believe you guys were neighbors.
Wow.
That's so
A
cool.
long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but maybe she remembers you.
Maybe. The geeky kid on the rollerblades.
One day when I interview Gina Carano, I'm going to be like, Gina, do you remember Messa, your neighbor, who was like 10 when you were 20?
Yep, she's going to say yep. I do.
That's so funny. Okay, well, so you know Conor McGregor, you know Ronda Rousey. You know that Ronda Rousey's fighting this December?
Yeah?
Yeah. Do you know who she's fighting?
Nope.
She's fighting Amanda Nunes.
Oh, wait, didn't she already fight her?
No, she says she hasn't fought her yet.
Who'd she fight last?
Her last fight was her loss against Holly Holm.
Oh, I thought she fought somebody again. I was watching something.
This is her comeback fight.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, she hasn't fought in over a year and a half.
Well, she's been training.
Yeah, for the last couple of months she's been training.
Oh, but not for the last year?
Well, no, because I think, you know, after she lost, because she lost pretty viciously.
She's got a big ego.
Well, yeah. Yeah, she, you know, wanted to finish her career being undefeated. That was her whole goal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bummer.
True. That is a bummer.
Rhonda.
Yeah, true. So she's making her comeback. She's going to be fighting, what's today? The day's the 12th of December. So in about 2.5 weeks, she's going to be making her fight, a comeback against Amanda Nunes for the title. Because she lost her title when she lost the fight. And so, yeah, we're excited to see. Are you going to watch the fight then? Now that you're... No, you have to watch the fight. Like, come on.
Okay, maybe.
Gosh, dang. Can't come onto this show.
I just like to watch the highlights. It's a little bit too gruesome for me. I do a sport that's like,
What?
yo, I'm going to very respectfully hit you.
That is taekwondo. That is very much taekwondo. I'm going to very lightly slap you on the face.
Very lightly. I don't know about that. I knocked a guy out once or twice.
You knocked a guy out?
All right, he punched me in the face first.
Okay, you got to tell us that story.
All right, well, I was like 15 or 14, and I just got my braces on. And he was a bully. He was like bullying the younger kids. He was a green belt. I think I was like a red belt or red advance or something like that.
What is a red belt?
Oh, it's like the one step away from a black belt.
Is it?
Yeah, I was on my way.
I don't know the belts in taekwondo.
I was on my way. There's like 12. There's a lot of belts.
Yeah.
So
that's a scam. Sorry.
It is a scam. I totally agree with you. You gotta make money somehow, and you're a studio. You're a hard life out there. So, forgot his name. Probably shouldn't even say it, but somebody was like video recording, and this was a time when they were
World
like
Star
VHS.
Oh man, that's
so
old school.
Anyways, what's his face punches me in the face. I just get my braces on. Pretty sure I wasn't wearing a mouth guard.
Dang.
I'm an idiot. So we're fighting, and I like had a tendency to kind of like get a little tunnel vision when somebody pissed me off and just like unleash.
She's like, come on.
And so anyways, I did a back
Super
kick.
Saiyan on him?
Kind of, but I did a back kick, and I think it went a little high, and I just hit him right in the jaw, and he dropped like a sack of potatoes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and somebody got it on VHS, and I have a VHS recording that somebody looped, and it goes like, ba, 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 ba. And then, like, I look at my foot because I hit him in the teeth, and it hurt my foot, and I was like, so I, like, stop and I look at my foot, and then that's the end of the video. I don't know if I ever looked at him.
Wait, do you have this on the internet somewhere?
No,
what in the world?
VHS.
But you can convert it to, like, YouTube.
I'm pretty sure that, actually, my world history professor, my sister's world history professor, took it from I showed it to Mr. Lieb when I was there. My sister 3 years later shows it to Mr. Lieb, and Mr. Lieb asked Margaret, said, "Hey,
this is your sister?
Yeah, where's that video? I want to see it again." So she brings it to class, and Mr. Lieb goes, "I'm just gonna take this," and he takes it and takes it to the library. I'm pretty sure he put it on a disc, but
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I want to see that footage. You've got to like make that happen.
It's vintage.
It's vintage. It's in stock. So, okay, well, yeah, I think that would be a good introductory fight into your MMA fandom.
Yeah.
So, UFC 207.
Yep.
It's interesting that you said that this green belt, and it was a guy who thought he could bully you, and he didn't know.
He wasn't bullying me, no.
Oh, he wasn't bullying you?
He was bullying every other child.
He was bullying every other child.
In the studio, it was like bullshit. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
well, it's been said, so.
I said it a few times.
Okay. But it's interesting that you said that because we're going to be having this is just a little info for my listeners. So we at Girl Fight Talk, we've been promising, well, I feel like I've been teasing, right, you guys with like some interesting information. And so it's official that Girl Fight Talk, myself, Josh, the rest of the team, we're going to be going out to UFC 207 to watch Ronda Rousey and Amanda Nunes throw down in the octagon, along with Dominic Cruz and TJ Dillashaw. And the cool thing is we're actually teaming up and we're sponsoring Claire Tejan, who is, if you guys don't know, she is the founder of a nonprofit herself called Bullied Not Broken. And Claire and her dad, Charles, are going to be coming out with us to Las Vegas to watch the fights. And we're excited to partner up with them because we, nobody likes to be bullied.
No.
Nobody likes to get punked, right? Like, and the thing is that there's such an issue with that, especially because of social media. People just go too far, right? Like, and there's a lot of kids out there, and even adults, right, who are just I think that we've become a lot more sensitive and aware to a lot of like the mental illnesses that people have and emotional issues that people can have, and so we're teaming up with Claire and Bullied But Not Broken just to kind of share Claire's story as well as bring some excitement into a kid's life, because I think there's a lot of stuff, a lot of stress that can happen, and a lot of kids can go through can struggle with suicidal thoughts, right? Which is a really scary, but it's a reality. And so we're excited to be covering the fights live. And so you guys will have something to look forward to at UC 207. But Messa, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
We're going to have to come back on.
Okay.
You have to bring Hannah with you next time, though.
Yeah, Hannah will come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell Hannah about us, that we're cool here at Girl Fight Talk.
Yeah. Hannah is out of town right now. They regret being not able to show up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
No, I'm pretty sure that Hannah sent me this email before they planned to go out of town. But
Right. Yeah. What's your guys' Twitter? What's Boulder and Denver Food Rescues?
Dear Lord, you're asking the wrong person.
Oh, come on. You got to be prepared.
I'm pretty sure we don't even have a Twitter.
You don't have a Twitter?
No. Who has Twitter nowadays?
I have a Twitter.
I don't have a Twitter.
You said you...
We have an Instagram.
You guys do have a Twitter because I did look it up the other day.
All right,
Well, it is... Hold on. Wait for it. Dang it, man. I thought...
I'm not hip with the hip, man. I do the research, data analysis. I go to the schools and I chat with
She's like, I'm graduating in 2 days.
I chat with the children and I talk about what food insecurity is and how do we hang? What do we do?
It's so funny. She says, I do the work. I'm not messing around on in social media.
Look, it's taking you forever because it's not there.
No, it is there. I've seen it. Here it is. Boulder Food Rescue.
When was the last post?
December 6th. That's not...
What?
Whoa. That's 6 days ago. Almost a week ago.
Okay.
Look at that. The guy's on a bike.
I apologize.
That dude that's a lot of food.
That's a lot of food. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
12
Is that a
boxes.
young guy or an old guy?
That's a...
Because, there's a lot of old folks up in Boulder who are so fit. They're more fit than me.
We have community members of all ages, genders, races.
Good.
We have a really diverse fleet. It's rad.
It's rad. Rad. Okay, Boulder Food Rescue. Follow them at BLDR Food Rescue. So if you guys are interested in supporting and volunteering with Boulder Food Rescue, follow them at BLDR Food Rescue and visit them at boulderfoodrescue.org. Okay? So, Messa, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a gift for you.
Oh, cool.
Hold on. Do you celebrate? What's your holiday that you celebrate?
I celebrate Christmas.
Okay, cool. Is there anything that you don't eat? Good. Okay. Do you have any allergies?
No.
Okay, great. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Oh, and last
Did you
thing.
make these?
No.
Okay, cool.
But you never asked that.
Sorry, it looks like you made them. They look handmade.
They are, but I'm regifting it.
Oh, shit. You can't tell people that.
You asked me if I made it, and I have to be honest. No,
right.
but it's just too much for me to personally have, so I felt like I should share.
You should. I'm
share
proud of you.
the
Thank
goodness. Look at Boulder Food Rescue. I have an excess. I'm sharing it with my friend.
There you go. That's how you do it.
Last thing. One of my Twitter followers asked, I said, what's a Christmas song that you want us to sing?
Okay.
And
are we gonna harmonize?
Can you sing? Oh yeah, you're the saxophonist. Okay. The song is All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey.
All right. How we
I've got to look up the lyrics. I'm terrible. Hold on. Okay, yeah. All I want for Christmas.
You don't know the lyrics off the top of your head?
What'd you say?
You don't know the lyrics off the top of your head?
I mean, I know some of them, but then I'll end up messing it up.
Well, maybe we should see how far we can get.
Oh, I just kind of like having the lyrics. I mean, I can have the lyrics and you can see how far you want to get.
No.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
I actually am a terrible harmonizer, just so you know.
Okay. Well,
You
maybe I'll get off of you, okay?
I'll do the melody.
Give me a note.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need, and I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. Baby, all I want for Christmas have to shake your start button.
Josh, did we make your band?
I'm not a singer.
There's some B-side stuff that you could possibly get on.
There's some B-side.
Yeah.
We just make the band. It's kind of like Diddy making the band. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
I feel like what's the group that actually came out? Danny D. Kane.
Oh, yeah.
I remember. I feel like I just made the band like Danny D. Kane.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay, well that's for you.
That's for you.
Such a
That was
loyal.
for you.
That was for you.
I feel like we could have done a better like beatboxing rendition. Yep. I don't want a lot. Boom, boom. That was my Danny D. Kane reference. You know? Don't they do it like a boom boom? Wait, I feel like maybe that's Gwen Stefani or something.
I don't even know what that is.
I can't think of it. Boom, boom, boom. I'll think of it later.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what that
something
is.
like, you know, one of those girl groups.
Okay, I don't know. But that was for you. That's so bad, I forget. Dean D.
Dean
D requested that.
Dean D. With
That
a
was for you, Dean
request.
D. So if you guys have any more Christmas songs you want me to sing with my other guests, please let us know. Put it out in the comments. I'm your guest, Kayla Haley. This is Messa from Boulder Food Rescue. And have a good happy holidays, guys. Follow us at Twitter at Girl Fight Talk. And we'll give you more details about UC 207 coming up. All right, guys. Peace.
Go.